Hey guys, didn't want to leave you hanging on this conversation we had. I want to make sure that we're clear about what I'm trying to, my point is that I'm trying to get across. But I've got two scenarios here, and I'll go through the Word doc first, and I'll go point to the screens. How to maximize by selling break even jobs. This is something that Frank Blau taught me early. Is Frank Blau is the most, I mean, break even is the most important number in your business. You have to understand break even. And it's very critical that you do understand break even. If you need help with that, let's have just ask for a call on that and I'll do one on one with you. Or we can do it as a group. It's totally up to you. Um, but, anyways, choosing not to take a job, choosing not to take a job at cost, choosing not to take a job at cost, that means overhead, labor, and material in it. No margin, just cost. Not taking that job at cost. Not only are you not making profit, but you are also missing additional overhead and labor dollars. Okay? What I mean by that is we budget, let's say we budget 60% for an installation department, and there's 5 days in the week. At 60%, they're looking to install 3 days that are profitable, that have full margin on it. Well, that fourth day and that fifth day also, even if you did it at break even, you don't have a margin on it, but you've covered your overhead and your labor for those 3 days, which covered it for the week. If you take on a fourth day and a fifth day at break even, that overhead, okay, and that labor that's built into your selling price becomes profit because you surpassed your budget. Okay. That cost, we're only, when we say break even, I'm only reducing the profit that I put on there, and that's 25%. And I would make sure that everybody sees that that's 25%, a minimum of 25%. Okay. Because you take 25% off of a $5,000 job, that's 3,750 bucks, right? That's a break even, but inside that break even is still overhead, labor, and material costs. Well, you've sold 3 days this week and you've covered all of that. That fourth day at break even, all of that labor um, and overhead is all profit now on those break even jobs. Okay? Because you've already covered it with the first three. The fourth day, you could pick up more profitability dollars because you overperformed your overhead burden and your labor burden for the week because it's built into a 60% number. So all of your labor burden and your overhead burden is built into 3 sold days. And that's how you pay for the other 2 down days. But if you maximize and do it at break even, all of that overhead and labor becomes profit. Okay. Material is kind of mute here. Material is part of the deal, but we haven't budgeted material into our selling price. It's just an add-on cost that we build in and we put margin on. Okay. So we're also, if you're selling the job at break even, you're not going to get any upside on the material side because we haven't budgeted any material into that job. Okay. Don't get me wrong. We've budgeted the cost of the material in there. Okay. But it's different than the budgeted of overhead labor on a 3 day, 60% efficiency basis and a labor and overhead on that. I've said labor before, so overhead, again, same thing plays in there. So not only are you not making profit, but you are also missing additional overhead and labor dollars. That will increase your profit. Let me point up here. This is a job, these two diagrams here. This is sold job, sold job, sold job, full margin, sold job, full margin, sold job, full margin, sold job, full margin. This one here is a company says, you know what? If you're not going to pay my price, go pound sand. So you get zero here. Okay. And you get zero here. Well, you've already budgeted 60% efficiency. So you did that already. But there's opportunity in these missed jobs where we could drop our drawers. Okay. We could drop the profit, do it for zero profit. I'm not saying to do that, but you could do it for zero profit and fill that gap, because we're going to be collecting overhead and we're going to be collecting labor that's built into that selling price. And that overhead and that labor becomes the profit for that break-even job. Now, don't do this if you haven't exceeded your 3-day budgeted installation. Okay? Don't do that. That's a slippery slope. So why, if, go back down here, why? If you are budgeted for 3 sold days or 60% efficient, and you have an opportunity to sell the 4th and 5th day at zero profit, you are now maximizing your profitability. And that's what these two lines up here. You're maximizing your profitability. This line here, you're not making any profit. This line here, you're not making any profit. But if you could sell it at break even, that overhead and direct cost turns into profit up here. And I want to make sure that was clear, because I think everybody I was concerned that the message was getting off track. To do this video to make sure that we're all on track. Okay. If you have any questions, please call me directly. Okay. So why? If we budgeted 3 days, 60% efficient, and you have the opportunity to sell the 4th and the 5th day for zero profit, you are not maximizing your profitability if you're not selling. I'm not sure why I didn't type that in. That's a typo. Anyways, why? Well, let's say an installation overhead direct cost is $3,000. So overhead and direct labor, that's $3,000. You're making an additional $3,000 on each one of these jobs up here, if that is the case. Okay, and it could very well be the case. You break even at your overhead and your direct labor. So that could be your what a day cost in that. So your budget is set at 60%, or 3 sold days per week. Every additional day you install over 3 that week gives you the breathing room to drop your drawers and start collecting jobs at break even. Why? Again, the overhead and labor is budgeted for installs. And once you've done 3, you've done it. And don't be afraid to do it on the first day. Okay? Because breaking even is, if you do all 5 jobs, if you do 5 jobs with break even, you're covering overhead. You're good with that. You got to cover overhead. So you got to get some kind of sales. So try not to lose a job. So discounting your price, I would never ask anybody to discount it more than what you put margin on it for. If you're looking for 25% margin, put that on there. Now, if you have a sliding scale for commissions, and let's say the guy's at a 10%, if he stays at 25% net, and it slides down at let's say 17.5%, the profit of the job, his commission slides down to, let's say, an 8%, and then it goes to a 10%, and his commission drops down to a 6%. There's these sliding scale commissions, and I can help you with that. I got a program that spits that out too. But it's important. I mean, the key here, break even is the most important number. Frank Bob pounded that in my head. Okay. And exceeding break even, you can sell it at break even. It's a slippery slope for me to say, well, you could just sell it forget the direct labor the overhead will pay for the direct labor. No, those are two components. Keep them in there. Let's not go down a slippery slope on that. So I'm going to reread this. By the way, third grade was probably the best 7 years of my life because that's when they started us off on reading. Let's say the installer's overhead and direct labor is $3,000. Your budget is 60% efficiency, which is 3 sold days a week. Every additional day you install over 3 weeks gives you breathing room to drop your drawers and start collecting jobs at break even. When I say collecting jobs at break even, saying yes to it. Okay? Why? The overhead and labor is budgeted for 3 installs. Every install over 3 in a week, overhead and labor are now additional profit dollars to the tune of $3,000 per additional sale. Okay, this money came from your overhead. This $3,000 came from your overhead and your direct labor. That was built into your profit pricing. Okay, so that now over 3 jobs becomes your profit if you're selling it at a 0 profit. And don't start off there. Always try to go for 25, get the full margin. But, picking up the phone saying, hey, Jim, I'm over here with Mrs. Jones and, she's in a bad way. Can we help her out? Can we do this one for break even for her? Yeah, let me talk to Mrs. Jones. That's how that dog and pony show works. But we only do that. But we do that every time a customer says no to us. Okay, because sometimes we may start the week off on break even. And it's okay to break even for the whole week. Okay, if that's what it takes. Overhead and labor are now additional profit dollars to the tune of $3,000 per additional sale. This money came from overhead. I think I'm just repeating myself here, but I guess I'm just getting anal. This dollar money came from overhead and labor that is built into your break even. Okay. I hope that helps. I'm not trying to be a pain. I just want to make sure that I'm getting my message clear to you so that you see that the opportunity here, okay, is extra profit. Whereas if we're here, okay, we're going to make the profit we budgeted for. Now, say that, if you had this all the way across, straight lines all the way across here, you just make no money, but you're covering your costs. Actually, that's a lie. If you did 5 days at break even, you would still make money because those 2 days would make you profit, filling your capacity. So instead of being that efficiency of 60, you're now 100% because you installed 5 days. Well, you got 5 days of overhead when you only budgeted in our pricing for 3 days of overhead. So 2 of those days of overhead and direct labor become the profit. Now, I don't want you guys going out there dropping your drawers. Only when you need to, and nowhere ever should a salesman be able to drop his drawers without calling his manager. So that first of all, the manager is putting this salesman on notice. Why can't you sell a job out of the book? Okay. But I don't want a salesman going out there just selling at break even. I'm not going to give him that authority. Of course, his sliding commission sale will hit his pocketbook, but I still don't want to do that. Some guys will do that and play that game. And generally it's because they're being paid too big of a base. Okay. And so I'm a big fan that commission only for salesmen. So discuss that, find out what you guys feel about that, but I'll give you my thoughts on it when it comes up for discussion. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got this clear, make sure I left you guys today with a clear note. Okay. Thanks, guys.